Estel Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estel Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestel.com. Estel Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estel Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestel.com.
Heading into the tail end of February. That means the tail end of the regular season. All eyes anxiously looking at the playoff postseason brackets, but you can't get there until you finish up the last couple weeks on your regular season docket. And we've got a big one here this evening in Defiance. Welcome aboard, everybody, to the Dog Pound. DCTV Sports is on the air with the Estel Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. One last WBL matchup for both these teams, trying to put a little wind in their sails before they get set for the postseason. The Bulldogs at 15-6 overall, 3-6 in conference play, taking on the Bulldogs of Celina, 7-13 and 3-5. Scoop, we're going to hear from head coach Bryn Lehman and one of those senior captains for the Defiance Bulldogs, Jordan Wright. But you look at both these teams here heading into this one in different manners, so to speak, but there's always one good cure-all for a season that maybe hasn't quite gone the way you want, and that's pick up a win, especially on senior night.
Well, I think that's appropriate for both these teams, especially Defiance. Defiance has had, look at the wins and losses, 15-6, but just 3-5 in WBL,
Yep.
12-1 outside the league. And there you see Celina, a team also 3-5, so right now kind of bragging rights on the line. And this is the rivalry that goes way back. This is the 93rd game of the series. It's tied right now at 46 apiece, so winner tonight will have not only a little momentum as we get inch close to the tournament, but also will take the all-time series advantage by a game.
Two different styles of play, two different rosters. As a matter of fact, you can say that at the high school level almost every year. Who'd you graduate versus who did you retain? But this is going to be an interesting dynamic tonight because you've got Defiance that does like to get out, does like to play downhill and run. It's not that Celina can't, but they are built a little bit more for a physical, rugged, half-court style of game. So my question to you is, which one gets their way tonight?
Well, it's going to come down, as you mentioned, who's going to control that tempo, because Celina really not an up-and-down team, but they are a physical team. They've got a lot of football players in uniform here tonight, and that could cause some matchup problems for Defiance. So whoever can impose their will on the other could have the upper hand here tonight.
Had a chance to stop out at a Defiance practice earlier this week and talk with Coach Lehman. Our player profile will be senior captain and point guard Jordan, we call him Jay Wright. His take on what 4 years in a Bulldog uniform has meant, and rest assured, they aren't thinking about hanging up their gear just yet. Estel Chevrolet Cadillac is our pregame sponsor. We want to give them a big thank you. Located on North Clinton Street in Defiance, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Visit them in person to check out their great selection of new and used vehicles, or you can do so online at drivebobestel.com. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we will hear from Coach Bryn Lehman of the Defiance Bulldogs. Right after this, you're watching DCTV Sports.
Estel Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estel Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestel.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Don't blink, because it's time, almost time, for that second season, but they want to finish up strong. Defiance hosting Celina tonight in a big WBL matchup, trying to keep some wind in their sails after a win over Swanton earlier this week. Coach Lehman joining us right now. Coach, we're almost there. Does it seem like a long 3 months or a snap of the fingers and all of a sudden here we are?
It's I'm a broken record when I say this every single year. It feels like it's long, but it's over in a blink of an eye. And I feel like we just started in November with this crew, and we've come a long way. We've grown a bunch, but it's time. I think they need some more motivation. They need something to look forward to, and I think Friday this is going to be a tournament-type atmosphere, and then that's just going to prepare us for Southview next week.
Let's go ahead and rewind before we preview. You okay with that? Swanton. You and I were talking about it, too. You've stepped out of conference quite a bit. You've had a ton of games compacted into a very short amount of time. I know the old joke is the players would rather play, the coaches would rather practice, but how has this team balanced what you've had thrown at you the last 2 to 3 weeks?
This team, they're different than a lot of the teams I've had because they handle that very, very well. I think I can trust that they're going to play hard no matter what. There's never a question of, with a few days off or if they played too many games, is there going to be a drop-off in their effort? And that's never going to be the case. I think we had to have a little bit of a reset, and I think at Swanton on Monday night was really good for our confidence. We needed some guys to get it going a little bit offensively, and we needed to see some bright spots defensively again, and I think we definitely got those.
You did. Balance was the word that was coming to mind. 4 guys in double figures. Now, again, I know Cy Schlatter is going to be escorted everywhere he stands on the court, but you've talked about trying to find that second, maybe even a third guy consistently. Is that Swanton game, even though it's late in the season, maybe a precursor of what can still be?
No doubt. And Trey Bibler and Jackson Becker have stepped up to be those guys of late. I still think, Will Horvath's a guy that can get in double figures for us. Jordan Wright's a guy that I think if his confidence is there, he's as dangerous as anybody we have, including Josiah.
Look enough for his shot?
I don't think so. I think he's a little bit too passive at times. And I think, he's accepted that facilitator role, but that's not always best for us. We need to have somebody alleviate pressure on Josiah, and Jordan's one guy that we can count on. He's just got to believe in himself a little bit more.
That doesn't mean you hunt shots. You still take them within the frame of the offense, but as a senior point guard, he's smart enough to do that. I guess what else can you do except challenge him? What lights that fire?
Absolutely. I think it's just complacency, and I think you've got to find a way to challenge guys in different ways because he's heard the same message 3 or 4 years, and he's got to continue to grow. And, I know it's late in his senior year, but we go as your senior point guard's going to go. So I think when he's confident, when he's dangerous, that makes us very, very effective.
Let's break down Celina. You can say you are what your record says you are. You can also look at it and say, man, better than what their record is. They've got some size, and not just height, but they're thick. Break this team down for us.
They're tough. They're a team that gives us problems, and even our really good teams the last few years, we've met up with them in the tournament, and it's been a struggle to get by them because they're physical. They muck games up. They know they're not, the prettiest team on paper or even on the court, so they're going to do what they need to do to win. Now, they've got a little bit more skill this year. They've got one of the best scorers in the league in the Wicker kid. So it's going to be a challenge. We're going to have to rebound. We're going to have to be able to get to the perimeter on number 11. But I'm confident. Our guys have been great at home. So if we come motivated, we'll have a lot of success.
Other keys for a Bulldogs win?
I think as a collective, we've got to stick together. I think our body language has got to be better. There's times where we've gotten down on ourselves lately, and that hasn't led to very good things for us. So if we figure out that we've got to move on to that next play, I think that makes us more efficient. I think we do a better job of sticking together, and that'll. The success will breed itself if we can just stay positive.
All right, Coach, as always, best of luck to you. Blink of an eye, but you're not done yet. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Coach Lemon joining us. We're going to take a quick time out. We're back with more of the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show right after this on DCTV.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
The Shanghai Circus has been entertaining audiences at the Grand Shanghai Theater for more than 20 years. And now they're coming to Defiance on February 21st. Immerse yourself in a magical journey through Chinese history and discover more about Chinese culture. Shanghai Circus will be at the Defiance Community Auditorium on Saturday, February 21st at 7 p.m. Tickets start at just $15 and are available now at defiancearts.org. Shanghai Circus, presented by the Strady Center for the Arts. Entertainment on a whole new level.
For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Welcome back to the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues on DCTV. We are winding down. Just one regular season game left after this, and then it's the second season. Basically, you're playing for the right to wear that jersey one more time. Until then, Defiance trying to finish up strong, coming off a big win earlier this week against Swanton.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Wright, our
Yes,
player
sir.
profile now, he's all smiles.
Yes,
Your
sir.
old hat at this. Let me ask you to rewind before we preview tonight. And I want to go back to last year, junior into your senior year. What were some of the things you were working on to become a better player? What did the coaches tell you they wanted you to improve on?
Obviously, I've always been a true point guard, so I've always been a more type of a pass-first point guard, as I am averaging 4 assists per game. So they really were asking me to score a lot more, and just be more of a scorer first and a passer first.
I'm glad you said that, rather than me have to say that's exactly what Coach has said. He said he's challenged you. It's not being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
He wants you to be more aggressive.
Yes.
What's a good shot for you? What's a comfortable shot for you?
I feel like getting to my spots, mostly pull-up jumpers, floaters. I've been really struggling with them this year, and it kind of sucks because I've really been working on them in the off season. But just getting to my spots, getting guys open, just stuff like that.
You can get downhill, though, too. As a matter of fact, I've seen a couple games where maybe the offense hasn't been there and you've jump-started it from the free throw line.
Yeah.
You're a scorer, not a shooter.
Yes.
Walk us through the defensive side of things. They were running a drill earlier tonight,
yep.
and nobody wanted to step up and be the first, and Coach kept asking, who's our best defender? Now, Will's name came up. Will didn't want to go first, so you stepped up and said me, and you led the way.
Yep.
But that's leadership.
Yes, sir.
Have the coaches talk to you about being more vocal, being that type of guy?
Of course, as we only have 3 seniors, I'm the most experienced senior, so they really asked me to step into a leadership role this year, and I think I fulfilled it pretty well. I can obviously work on some things, but for the most part, just got to be the first in drills, just little stuff like that just shows a lot.
Today looked like it was almost exclusively defensively oriented.
Yep.
I know that's an end of the court, but not a lot of guys like to play. Doesn't make the highlight reels at 6 and 10, but at the same time, you can't just give up a basket every trip down the court or you're in infinite overtime.
Yep.
How much better is this team defensively now than it was, say, back in November?
Actually, I think we were a lot better in November, but I just think that we have to. That's what practice was today, trying to get our fundamentals back because we were we're number 1 in D3 right now for defense. So just trying to get the small things back. We're really good defensively. We just let some of the fundamentals go away from, per se, earlier in the season. So just trying to get little stuff like that back.
Probably over the last month or so, maybe even 6 weeks, you've had a really rough stretch. You've been cramming games into a short amount of time.
Yep.
The schedule's been compacted. A lot of them were out of conference. So I don't want to say meaningless, but at the same time, they don't impact that WBL banner up there. But how have practices gone? How have you been able to, I guess, pace yourself to make sure you still got your legs this time of the year?
Yeah, that's the hardest part. My legs are hurting as we speak right now, but just trying to go light stuff, more shooting instead of like live full court drills. Yeah, but it's hard having the non-conference games being all crammed Tuesdays and Fridays. It's hard. It's just a grind, but we're up for the challenge. So
as a senior, things can get sentimental. You can always take a look. Okay, this will be the last time I do this. Last time I spend time with my teammates doing that. It can become a distraction if you aren't careful. How have you been able to keep things in perspective?
Just looking at the bigger picture, it's my last year, but it's like, what do I want to do with my last year? Do I want to stay and be sad about it, or do I want to win games and win a championship and put a banner up, not cut a net, just stuff like that? Got to look at the bigger side of it.
Let's talk about goals. I know that Coach always preseason sits you guys down and talks about them. Do you continue to bring them up over the course of the season now that we're hitting the postseason? You guys openly talking about what you expect to do, which is what?
Well, we wanted to win a WBL title, fell short of that, obviously. I think if we could go back and replay all of our WBL games, I feel like it would have been a lot better. And, just making it as far as we can, making it out of our district, just little stuff like that. Just look at the smaller things first instead of looking like at state and stuff like that. So
we're not going to graduate you just yet.
Yes, sir.
But in a couple months, you're going to be strutting across the stage, styling in the cap and gown. What's the future going to hold for Jay Wright?
Hoping to be an electrician.
What got you interested in that?
Money. Money.
So nobody in the family?
No, but, my mom is looking forward to getting to it. She works at GM as a millwright right now, but she's going to take the classes with me and just stuff like that. So we're both going to be taking the classes.
All right. So family together. Yes. A pair of electricians maybe when the program's all said and done?
Hopefully.
So if I come back and talk to you in another 10, 15 years, what's the dream job?
Hopefully I'm a full-time electrician, coming back with kids, watching the basketball games.
So a future generation of Wrights that I might be able to call here.
Hopefully you're with one of my kids right here.
Do you see yourself staying involved in the sport at all, doing any coaching, even if it's youth league?
100%. I hope, in 10 years, I would want to be probably either coaching football or being an assistant here. I want. That's one of my jobs I want to be, is if not an electrician, want to coach down the way. So
We're not going to hit the fast forward button just yet. Most important game obviously will be Celina next up. And then what's the ceiling for this team? How deep a run in the postseason can you guys make?
We have a good path, Sylvania, Northview, and then Walpock. We fell short against Walpock off a buzzer beater in OT, so I feel like we can 100% get them. They're down right now after a loss to Elida. And it's going to be TCC. They're obviously tough. We scrimmage them in the beginning of the year, but I think we can get them. We're good with playing teams like that, zoning teams like that. We scrimmage them when we first, right after football. So I think we have a good path to get out of our district, though.
Hustle, effort, and just take that next step.
Yes, sir.
All right. Congratulations on a great season so far. Best of luck tonight and the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Jay Wright, our player profile, brought to you by Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, located on North Clinton Street in downtown Defiance. Maybe someday we'll see him just cruising down Douglas in a convertible Corvette.
Hopefully.
He'll be a good pitch man for him. We're going to take a quick time out. We're back with more of the starting lineups and the keys to the game right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948. Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1940.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Shanghai Circus has been entertaining audiences at the Grand Shanghai Theater for more than 20 years. And now they're coming to Defiance on February 21st. Immerse yourself in a magical journey through Chinese history and discover more about Chinese culture. Shanghai Circus will be at the Defiance Community Auditorium on Saturday, February 21st at 7 p.m. Tickets start at just $15 and are available now at defiancearts.org. Shanghai Circus, presented by the Strady Center for the Arts. Entertainment on a whole new level.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com.
Back at the Dog Pound, the JV game going into overtime. Right now, Defiance leading by a basket with 18 seconds left, so we'll see if the host Bulldogs can salt this one away from the free throw line. What this means is with 15 minutes put up on the clock at the conclusion of this one, you will get an extra dose, an ultra concentrated dose of Scoop Miller's keys to the game, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about double concentration. It will last you for days. That's what it will do. And Defiance has a chance to salt this one away from the free throw line right now, up by 3. A young man at the free throw line.
Reed Rolison.
Reed Rolison, yep.
String music on the back end makes a 2-possession game here. 15 to go.
Now all you have to do is not foul. And this one should be in the books, although we'll wait and see. As just inside the arc, that one short. And Rolison with the board. And no fouls. So it took an extra 3 minutes, but things start off in strong favor for the host tonight as Defiance wins the JV game 48-44. We had anticipated being ready for tip-off for the varsity contest about right now, but as it stands, we've got a little extra time to fill. And it's also senior night, so I think we may have a little extra time to fill there as well. So, Scoop, before we get into keys to the game and the starting lineups, let's rewind a little bit. Let's break down the season to date and the WBL. And not unlike what we talked about last night with the girls, who won a tremendous game against Wapakoneta last night, 40-36, their first sectional win in 6 seasons. The boys are very similar. The brackets lay out, and with the way that the state and the Athletic Association handles things now compared to the way they did a few seasons ago, the schools and the coaches, more specifically, have a lot more say in what brackets they're going to play in, what teams they will play, and where they will play those games. I know they say progress demands change, but in your opinion, is it a positive, a negative, or is it a push at best? Maybe 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Well, I think that probably describes it best. I think they're trying to make a step in the right direction, and again, I'm certainly not the consensus on this, but one of the things is they want to try to get away from biased voting by the coaches. So a lot of times in the past, I saw teams stick up for their own league, not want to maybe upset a rival school, gave them a little bit more partiality when it came to the seeding. That upset some of the teams that maybe only had a team or two in that sectional.
Yep.
And it kind of affected the seeding. So to get away from that, they go by RPI, and basically the RPI looks at your schedule, your one-loss record. Then it looks at your opponent's one-loss record. I think both those comprise about 40% of it. The other 20% of it is your opponent's
correct
one-loss record. And so that takes the kind of the bias out of it. The bad thing about it is, sometimes those can be misleading numbers depending who you're playing, smaller school, bigger school.
Exactly.
And so
I was going to say part of it too is, and again, no formula is going to be perfect. So we understand that with that caveat. But at the same time, there are certain conferences, and it may change from year to year too. One conference might have a down year. The next year, all of a sudden, boom, much stronger. But I guess at the base I'm asking you here is this as good as you can expect or hope for, given the challenges that they were trying to eliminate when they started this?
Well, honestly, I think it's a good first step. I really do. There's some flaws in there. I think those will work itself out. I look for improvements to be made in the RPI. And one of the major changes this year as well is it used to be in parts of the state you had a chance to pick which regional you could potentially advance to. Now everybody has that opportunity. So it does give the coaches a little bit more say that, hey, we may not match up really well against this team, so we're going to go in the other bracket. But it may mean we got to drive an extra hour to get to a sectional/district game. So that comes into play as well. And I don't like that part of it. I'd rather see, a fan-friendly environment where you don't have to drive, 100 miles to get to a sectional game. I'd like to see as many people in the seats as possible. And sure, you're going to have some backdoor rivalries. You're going to know each other really well. But, again, it's going to be you've got to advance on the court. And, again, I think it's some good steps, but they still have a ways to go.
I'm going to use this as an example. I'm not going to mention these specific coaches or their team. But just a week ago, the head coach and his assistant were going over the possibilities before they had their coaches meeting. And the conversation started up, and it's like, okay, well, where do we want to be number one? Well, who else might want to be their number two? Then number three was, well, who wants the bye? Some teams might not. There have been some teams that might not have played a game for 2 weeks. A bye doesn't do you any good unless you really are injured and want to heal up. So now all of a sudden that conversation became, okay, where do we want to be? But well, we have to take the bye. I mean, all of this stuff going into conversations before the conference call was even made. There's a lot more to think about now than there was even just a handful of years ago.
Certainly is, and I had to laugh a little bit. My daughter mentioned to me yesterday, it's like, Dad, you were a pioneer. You always elected to play. You never took the bye. You always elected to play an extra game. Nobody did that. And now this year I saw that some guys' teams are doing it. A lot of the girls' teams are doing it. But that's one of the many reasons why I wanted to do that. I didn't like that extra layoff. And right now with the 7 classes, 7 divisions, there's some teams that have 2 weeks from their final game into their opening game in a tournament. And at no other time of the year do you have to do that. So I did not like that part. That's one of the reasons I always wanted to play first.
Well, 2 weeks, and if you take a bye, you're talking 3. So at that point, how much rest is too much? Unless, again, you are a mash unit at the end of your bench and you need it. So, again, the situation might dictate. But at the same time, and it's still not uncommon. As a matter of fact, not to look too far ahead, but the brackets are out for Division III. Defiance will be stepping out of the, I don't want to call it norm, but maybe the usual. Instead of playing a conference opponent in their first matchup, they're going to go to Southview, Sylvania, to take on Northern Lakes League opponent. Again, the Cougars, the winner there will get the winner of Wapakoneta, who is the number 3 seed, who will await the winner of the Maumee Celina game in the opening round there. So a little bit of a different look, but at the same time, is it better to think of it instead of a mini conference tournament through those first 2 rounds? Now you're talking more regional competition.
It is. It's going to be more regional competition, and it's going to be a lot as a coaching staff. You're going to put your kids in the best possible scenario where they can have the most success. So now you're thinking, all right, you're thinking about matchups, you're thinking about location, you're thinking about days off. So again, all those things combined. So the coaches have a lot more decision, I think, nowadays than they did. But we used to have a decision because we typically were blessed. We had a team that was maybe a 1 or 2 seed just about all the time. So we had an option if we wanted to go on the board early, if we wanted to pass, if we want to take the play-in game, or if we wanted to take the bye. And now it's starting to kind of equal out. But again, it's kind of uncharted territory. for all these coaches right now, even the veterans.
Well, the seniors have been recognized here on senior night. We saw the players, we saw a couple of the Spirit Squad members, and now it's time to get ready for basketball after the overtime for the JV. And again, Defiance knocks off Celina in overtime in the JV, 48-44. Both teams are out now for a 15-minute shoot-around. What we're going to do is take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have the Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports.
When a fire or natural disaster throws a penalty flag, let ServiceMaster Restore work for you. Anything from minor cleanups to complete overhaul and rebuilding. Contact ServiceMaster by Superior Credit Union, a not-for-profit, member-owned financial cooperative. Visit SuperiorCU.com to find out more about joining the winning team at Superior Credit Union.
Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948. Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com.
Back at the Dog Pound, we're about 12 and a half minutes away from tip-off as Defiance, 15-6 overall, 3-5 in the WBL, taking on Celina, 7-13, also 3-5. Time now for a look at your Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. Baker Schindler Company, proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, baker-schindler.com. Let's start with the visitors and the Bulldogs of Celina, led by head coach Adam Johns. He will send the following 5 onto the court here this evening. At the point, it will be Parker Wink. Wink standing in at, oops, I just lost my roster here. Give me 1 second. Wink again. 7.5 points. I was looking for heights on him. I have him under about a cubic ton of paper, ladies and gentlemen. And it's
6'2" junior.
There we go. 6'2" junior. Thank you very much. There, I've got it. Again, he is basically going to fill it up, though. He's got 142 points on the season. He averages 7.5 per game. But Scoop, what he looks like is a guy that doesn't take bad shots. He's shooting 41% from the floor. That's from 2. He's shooting, again, 34%, which is a little bit above the average around the state of 33%. And he's on a 52% free throw shooter. Normally you want your point guard to be a little bit better than that, but this young man certainly looks like the straw that stirs the drink.
Well, he's very solid, you know, and he really kind of makes that offense go, and it's going to be important for Defiance to try to limit his opportunities because he has time. He's a proven shooter.
At the off guard, it will be Gavin Wicker. Wicker, a 6'1" junior. Wicker, again coming into this one, the team's leading scorer at 18 points per game. He's shooting 50% from the floor. Scoop, that's pretty good when every other shot is falling for you.
Oh, no doubt about it. He leads the team in three-point field goal percentage as well at 38%. A 72% free throw shooter, also leads the team in steals and assists. A complete player, one of the best in the WBL.
At the swing, it will be Braylon Parker. Parker stands in at 6 foot. He is a junior. His numbers, again, won't jump off the page, but he's just one of those consistent guys. 4 points, 2.5 rebounds per contest. Your front court as follows, and they have got some size. They are thick. Caleb Schlater. Schlater standing in at 6'5", just a sophomore. Schlater averaging 8.5 points per contest. He is also pulling down nearly 6 rebounds per game. And in the middle, Logan Billerman, a 6'2" senior. Billerman entering tonight's contest, averaging 3.5 points per game. He's also pulling down 4.5 rebounds per contest. Those are your starters for Celina. On the flip side, for the hosts, Defiance will send the following 5. Again, a change made about 3, maybe 3.5 weeks ago, but they have stayed with it. Jay Wright, our player profile, is the starting point guard here this evening. Wright, again, more of a pass-first point guard. You heard me mention during the pregame, the coaches have challenged him to be not selfish, but more aggressive. They think that this team would be a little bit tougher to deal with if he's up around 8 to 10 points per contest. He's averaging 5.5 per game, but as we mentioned, pass first, he's averaging 4 assists per ball game. At the off guard, it will be Will Horvath, a 6-foot junior. Horvath entering tonight's contest, averaging 5 points and 4.5 rebounds per game. Josiah Schlatter, the team's leading scorer, and again, a scorer, not a shooter, folks. He can do it in a lot of different ways. The 5'11 junior coming into tonight's contest, averaging 17.8 points per contest. However, he also hits the glass. He's got nearly 4 boards per game. He's averaging about an assist and a half and about a steal and a half per contest. I know we focus so much on what he does as far as putting the ball through the hoop, but Scoop, this young man is a complete player.
He really is. He's upped his game from a year ago, both the offensive and defensive end. And again, that's a guy they're going to have to limit his touches because he's so lethal, shoots over 42% from beyond the arc, a deadly free throw shooter just below 90%. You mentioned the other attributes as well. He brings a lot to the table here for the Bulldogs.
Rounding out the starting lineup, Trey Bibler will be your 4-man. Bibler standing in at 5'10 and a junior. Again, they went to put him in the starting lineups about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks ago, more primarily for some offensive purposes, and it has paid off. He has not given that position back. Again, he comes into this one averaging nearly 6 points per ball game and pulling down just over a board a contest. Then in the middle, what's the old Wendy's commercial from the 1980s? Where's the beef? Well, he wears number 33 for Defiance, and he is learning how to play. Jackson Becker, 6'5", a junior, 250 pounds. Becker, 7.5 points, the team's leading rebounder at 7 per ball game, and he'll just wall you off. Scoop, he is a matchup nightmare for most teams. Tonight, though, Celina has some size. This ought to be an interesting contest.
It will be. That's be one of my focal points tonight is to look down there in the trenches because, again, he brings a lot to the table. You mentioned those 7 rebounds. He also leads the Bulldogs in field goal percentage. A lot of that's because of his strength and ability to play through contact down there in the trenches.
He is learning how to play with his back to the basket. Those are your starting lineups brought to you by Baker Schindler Company. Quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, Baker-Schindler.com. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll have our Northwest Community College keys to the game. Defiance, Celina, wrapping up the WBL season. Don't you go anywhere. We've got more of the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948.
Discover top quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Back at the Dog Pound, 5.5 minutes before we tip this one off. Defiance 15-6 overall. Celina 7-13. Time now for your Northwest State Community College. Keys to the game. Northwest State Community College. Your key to great career opportunities begins with a great education at Northwest State. Visit northweststate.edu or call their admissions office at 419-267-1320 today. Let's start with the visitors from Celina. And again, different styles of play. Scoop, what do they need to do to walk out of here with the win?
I think key number one for the Celina Bulldogs, they've got to compete on the glass. This is going to be a hefty challenge, I think, for the Bulldogs coming in because Defiance has really hung their hats on the glass this year. Defiance comes in at +5 in rebounding margin. On the flip side, Celina -2 in rebounding margin. This could be a huge stat as this one unfolds. I think the second key, they have to find a way to limit Josiah Schlatter, the junior. You mentioned he comes in scoring about 18 points a game, but does so many other things well when he has the basketball. He can distribute, he can go downhill, he can shoot that long three. So you have to really limit him. You're not going to shut him down, but you have to make him work for everything. And make him work so hard to get the ball, he's a little less effective once he does get in his hands.
And we had a chance to talk with Coach Adam Johns before the JV game, and he said they're going to make no secret about it. Cy Schlatter is going to be face guarded everywhere he is on the court tonight. On the flip side, for Bryn Lehman and the Defiance Bulldogs, keys to pick up win number 16 on the season.
Well, I think for Defiance, it's going to start their defense. I think they really have to apply a lot of ball pressure here on Celina, not let them get comfortable in the half-court set. And again, I think that's been the one kind of Achilles heel for Celina this season. They've got athletes, they've got size, they've got strength, they've got shooters, but they've had a tendency to turn the basketball over. So I think Defiance needs to exploit that by getting plenty of on-ball pressure, getting those passing lanes, and maybe get some points from the defense. I think the second key tonight for Defiance, they've got to get points in the paint. You know, Brent, you've already mentioned, you know, where's the beef, the thickness that Celina has out there in the court here tonight. I think Defiance cannot shy away from that. I think they need to establish the paint and maybe work inside out. And if they can get it done in these areas, they can move to 4-5 in the WBL and get their 15th win of the season here tonight.
Those are your keys to the game, brought to you by Northwest State Community College. Your key to great career opportunities begins with a great education at Northwest State. Visit northweststate.edu or call their admissions office today at 419-267-1320. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll get set for the national anthem, and then it's tip-off. WBL action tonight. You're watching the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Superior Credit Union, a not-for-profit, member-owned financial cooperative. Visit superiorcu.com to find out more about joining the winning team at Superior Credit Union. West Banco, building a better bank every day since 1870. Community-focused West Banco. Find out more at westbanco.com. The Shanghai Circus has been entertaining audiences at the Grand Shanghai Theater for more than 20 years. And now they're coming to Defiance on February 21st. Immerse yourself in a magical journey through Chinese history and discover more about Chinese culture. Shanghai Circus will be at the Defiance Community Auditorium on Saturday, February 21st at 7 p.m. Tickets start at just $15 and are available now at defiancearts.org. Shanghai Circus, presented by the Strady Center for the Arts. Entertainment on a whole new level.
Final seconds ticking down. The warm-up is about to wind down. Balls will be putting back in the racks. Both teams heading to their respective benches. Tip-off just a little bit later than expected tonight with the JV game going into overtime. Now it is time for varsity. You can see the colors being unfurled over half court. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller as we are getting set to put a wrap on our Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. Your officials this evening: Jeff Clare, Jamie Clay, and Jason Blazevich. They look like they're in pretty good shape. Looks like they can get up and down the court tonight. You and I had a little bit of a sprint last night to try and dodge the raindrops after we had dinner at a local establishment. And I remember thinking, okay, it wasn't that far. Were you winded when you got into your car?
Well, from all that talking we did all last night, but other than that, I was able to dodge a few of those raindrops anyways.
I blamed the fact that I was still in my work shoes. And I'm like, okay, I got to go around puddles. If I was in, regular street shoes, it wouldn't have been a problem. I wouldn't have minded getting wet. But my wife would have had my hide. Needless to say, they're in uniform, and we're up here with the headsets on. As we get set for the playing of our national anthem, the Defiance Pep Band is here. We want to thank our underwriter, the Defiance County Veterans Office, proud to support local veterans and their families. If you would like to learn more about what you might be eligible for, check out online at defiance-county.com/veterans office or give them a call at 419-782-6861. as we'll see the representation of the teams as far as the WBL Sportsmanship Committee is concerned. They do this before every tip-off, made up of various athletes and Spirit Squad members. They'll shake hands, wish each other well, be very sportsmanlike, and then in about 30 seconds want to tear each other's heads off. So that's the way it works, right?
That's high school athletics.
It's athletics pretty much in general. And everybody getting a very well-deserved round of applause as the officials being recognized now by public address announcer Josh Bush.
Yeah, it's a great crew. They've done a lot of state tournament games between the three of them. A lot of experience between the three.
Speaking of royalty tonight, on the other side of the gym, the Lehman family is out in force tonight, Scoop. So as everybody stands, our national anthem brought to you by Defiance County Veterans Office and the Defiance Pep Band. And the national anthem in the books, courtesy of the Defiance Pep Band. Not just one of the best pep bands, one of the best marching bands, one of the best band programs, not just in Northwest Ohio, but the entire state of Ohio. It has been a real treat over the last 3 years to watch them in action at various athletic events.
No question.
Spirit Squad members being introduced. As there you can see the teams huddling up around each other. Defiance in their home whites with the blue lettering and numerals. The blue stripe and white trim down the jersey tops and shorts. Celina in their traveling green uniforms with the white lettering and numerals and the black trim. Pretty good turnout tonight for the hosts. Celina bringing a moderate crowd, but we'll wait and see if there might be a few late arrivals here. It's very foggy, very rainy over the last 48 hours. Again, one game left on the regular season. No, there's not. Actually, I take that back. It is Southview up next, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe Celina has a non-conference after this either. So I did a ton of prep work, and it's sitting on my desk at home. So maybe I should have had my wife take a snapshot of it and text it to me.
Well, we mentioned how this series is even right now at 46 wins apiece for both these squads. And one thing of note, Brent, the last 3 seasons, the visiting team has won each game. So something you don't see a lot of in this day and age, especially here at Defiance, where Defiance the last 2 seasons, 20-3 at the Dog Pound. But again, one of those losses came 2 years ago in overtime to the Celina Bulldogs. Could we have that type of game here tonight? Stick around and find out.
Well, we will wait and see. I found my bracket here. Celina has drawn the 8th seed in Northwest 1's sectional. They will open up against the 6th seed Maumee on the 25th. And the winner of that game will get 3rd seeded Wapakoneta just 2 days later. On the 27th, as we mentioned, Defiance will make the about hour drive to the north side of Toledo, specifically the suburb of Sylvania, where they will take on Southview. One last regular season game here. Who wants it? The tip-off brought to you by Superior Credit Union, a non-profit member-owned financial cooperative. Visit superiorcu.com to find out more about joining their winning team. As the Bulldogs, and in this case Defiance's Bulldogs, win the tip and open up on offense. Schlatter, boy, nice dish down low, and on senior night, instead of Bibler, it's Matthew Walter in the starting lineup. So
how
about that?
Yeah, great opening possession. We talked about importance of points in the paint. That time they attacked right away. Great assist that time for the big man, Jackson Becker.
So Defiance draws first blood. Celina immediately goes down low, and we talked about beef. Man, Schlater is a horse down low. Likewise, Billerman coming out to set a screen. You'll feel those tonight.
No surprises either way. They both come out very aggressive, man-to-man pressure.
Top of the key, Celina being very patient, very selective. They're double-teaming the ball. Wink gives it up, and whoops, big man got caught between a dribble and a pass, and that's going to be the first turnover of the night on Schlater.
Credit that Defiance defense. That time at good ball pressure, doing a nice job. Celina's a team likes to set a lot of ball screens. That time they were anticipating that, stepping out ready to hedge. They forced the game's first turnover.
High post, Walter. We're really feeling the big man Billerman on his hip. Stopping and popping from the free throw line. Nifty jumper by Will Horvath.
Great job by Horvath, a mid-range pull-up jumper. String music. He went through contact that time, didn't let it bother him.
Long three from the left wing. This one skims off the front of the iron. Parker thought he had it. And here comes Defiance. Jackson kicks it back to Wright. Going to show some aggressiveness on the baseline. Did he lose that ball, or was that an ill-advised pass in traffic?
Ill-advised pass. He tried to thread the needle. Great play by Parker Wink that time to slide ball depth, come up with that steal.
And Wicker turns it over, and that's just great on-ball defense by Will Horvath.
It really is. Right now, 2 quick turnovers on Celina's opening 3 possessions. So credit Defiance trying to set the tone with their defense. Off to a 4-0 start here. Not even 2 minutes in.
Right. Beneficiary of a double screen, now dishes. Slatter steps into a left-right 3, a West Banco 3, and Defiance is clicking on all cylinders to open up the ball game.
Great 2-man game. They clear out that right side, and when you have Slatter beyond the arc, you can't really help, but that time they went in to help, and that freed Slatter up. He hits that West Banco 3.
Billerman cut off in the low blocks, loses the basketball. Slatter, a rare fast break opportunity, and what do we got here? Foul or out of bounds off of Defiance? Nope, they're going to call it a jump ball, and they're pointing to Celina.
That time the arrow does belong to the Celina Bulldogs, so ends up being a Defiance turnover. Right now we've had only 1 rebound combined both teams. We've had 5 combined turnovers.
That'll put gray hairs on both coaches' heads. 7-0 though to open up the ball game for Defiance.
3 for 3 from the field here by Defiance early.
Nice hedge by Jackson, but nobody rotates over to pick up the dribble, and Parker goes all the way in and finishes with the left hand.
Great job by the junior, Braylon Parker. He's a guy that I'd love to see get a lot more shots. He's very good with his range. He also can take it downhill, as we saw there. Ends a 7-0 start there for Defiance.
Wright wanted to drive, but backs it out. Horvath gives it up. Top of the key, Wright will reset the half-court offense. There's a smoothness to his game. Right there, stop and pop jumper, can't get the friendly roll. You tell him to take that shot, though, don't you?
Yeah, you do. I think that's what Coach Lehman loves to see him do. A little bit more aggressive offensively. He had a good look just off the edge of the rim.
Coming off a screen, Wicker spots up for 3, and walking the tightrope on the baseline, Horvath manages to stay in bounds. Right, nobody picks him up. He'll drive and dish. Walter for 3, off the far side of the rim. Wink wanting to run. Wright gets back to pick up the basketball, and he palmed it. Oh, my goodness. Right now, Celina just does not seem to be in sync offensively.
Credit to the Defiance defense for a lot of that. 4 early turnovers now for Celina. And again, they've had 3 shots from the field.
Yep. Substitutions checking in, and this is about as big a lineup as Defiance can get with Noah Shank checking in. Shank at 6'7", a junior. And then you see Trey Bibler now into the ball game, and he'll spot up for 3, and that doesn't catch anything, but Jackson with the board will kick it out. We're just a little over halfway through the first quarter of play. Right, on the drive. Boy, I thought it was there if he would have kicked it into a second gear, but he didn't, and kicks it out.
Yeah, I thought once he got deep there, maybe a little hesitation move, then explode to the rack, but he kicks it out, stays patient.
Jackson comes up to set a screen. Bibler goes all the way in and finishes with the left-handed finger roll.
Now, right now, just no help defense by Celina, but credit Bibler. Great drive there, great finish with the left hand.
Hudson Gresham has checked into the lineup for Celina. Oh, nice move, and that was just nifty for a big man. We got a timeout, and despite the basket, Coach Johns is not happy about something, and he'll call a 30-second timeout.
Well, that time, great entry pass there on the pick and roll from Braylon Parker. And again, breakdown by Defiance defensively. I'm not sure how you don't account for the big man there on that roll, as he had the whole right side of the lane to himself.
I was going to say, I don't care what the scouting report says. If there's nobody between any player and the basket, just about everybody can make a layup. Yeah. And if you can't, you're sitting on the bench.
Yeah, and again, you just have to make teams earn points. And Celina, got that slow start. Last thing you want to do, though, is kind of jumpstart them a little bit. And that time, just a gift play.
So 9-4, despite the hot start by Defiance, Celina is within arm's reach here as Bibler will take the inbounds from Schenk. Matthew Walter about to check back in at the next stoppage of play. Slatter stops and pops, and he's feeling it early. He's got one from beyond and now one inside the arc.
Yeah, that time I thought that was too easy there for Slatter. He's the guy that's going to cash in on that little mid-range jumper there off a dribble every time. But nice to see him get off to a good start there. 5 points in just 2 shots.
Top of the key. Gresham gives the basketball up. Wicker on the drive. That ball, I thought it was deflected. Nope, it's out of bounds off of Celina.
Yeah, that
Another
time
turnover.
They set up that two-man game, little pick and roll, and that time the quick pass from Wicker kind of caught him off guard. It goes off his hand. So 5 turnovers now for Celina compared to just 4 points here, and we're 5.5 minutes in.
Walter back into the ball game as he finds Owen Fry beyond the arc on the left wing. Good reversal. Slatter drawing all kinds of attention. Braylon Parker's going to be on him. Open on the near corner, and that one rattles in and out for Fry. Good job of transition D by Defiance. 5 white jerseys get back. New sub in for Celina. Logan Kearns now into the ball game. Stop and pop jumper from the left wing. Again, the iron unkind for Wicker, and out of bounds off of Celina.
Well, you're right. Tremendous job by Defiance transition defense. Celina is a team, they will run. If you know their head coach, Adam Johns, he was a 3-time WBL conference player at St. Mary's. He wasn't afraid to put the ball up, and I'm sure his guys are going to be the same way. If they get the opportunity, they will run.
Oh, wow, Bibler playing through contact, and they're going to call him for a travel.
I thought that was pretty good half-court defense that time by Celina. They're not helping a lot, so they have to win those one-on-one perimeter battles. And that time they're able to do it with some good physical play, trying to reroute Bibler away from the middle.
Press coming out, almost pays off in a turnover. One dribble, and then Gresham stops and releases the basketball, and Celina will reset. Oh, Gresham slides. Got a little deep, and boy, for what I thought was an open layup, now he has to kick it back out. Low post, spin move. Schlater is going to be a handful for Schenk. Schenk is taller by about 3 or 4 inches, but he gives up a lot in poundage.
Yeah, Coach Johns would love to see him get more touches down there in that low post because he is a load. He's got good length there, and he's certainly got a wingspan when you can throw it in.
Driving baseline, Schlatter, nice footwork to get over and cut it off. Parker has to kick it out. Gresham, Bibler with the tap, right back to Gresham. And that's just staying with it. And he's going to draw the contact.
Yeah, I thought that's the look they had earlier, but that time Slater stayed with it, and the 6'5" sophomore will now head to the stripe to try to cut into that 7-point deficit. The southpaw takes a few dribbles, aims, and fires.
Ooh, I was about to say an excellent free throw shooter at 72%, but to avoid the broadcaster's jinx, I held off. He'll try and make it 1-2 here. Another substitution. Billerman is checked back in for Celina.
Yeah, that 72% leads Celina, along with Gavin Wicker, who's also shooting 72% from the stripe. This could make it a 2-possession game, and it does.
It's 1 out of 2. So 11-5 our score. Counting down towards 30 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Bibler picks up his dribble, finds Schenk in the high blocks. Oh, nice make, and drives in, and thunderous dunk. Count it, and one coming. Wow.
Wow, that was a tremendous play that time. Well, he sold it there. Great job with the fake and then the spin. And the big man, Noah Schenk, was left all alone, and he stuffs it home.
He was moving with a purpose, and it really started with the ball fake. Everybody, including us up here, thought that was going to go to Schlatter. He pulls it back, spun, and he took off like a windmill in a tornado.
Yeah, I think the only one that didn't fool was our cameraman, so kudos there. Big-time play and slam.
Low blocks, Grisham trying to work against Walter. They'll kick it out. Great ball movement right now by Celina. Back into the far corner. Harder with a 3. It's off the mark. And how in the world did that go in? Grisham's shot puts that ball off the glass. So a couple of nifty plays by both bigs to end the first quarter. Buzzer sounds. First 8 minutes are in the books. Defiance 14, Celina 7. We'll catch our breath. Back with second quarter action right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
When a fire or natural disaster throws a penalty flag, let ServiceMaster Restore work for you. Anything from minor cleanups to complete overhaul and rebuilding. Contact ServiceMaster by McCann.
Going to get a good look at the crowd here this evening as they've been entertained through the first 8 minutes of basketball. Host Defiance leading visiting Celina by a score of 14-7. This is the regular season finale for both teams, as next week the second season, first round of sectionals gets underway. Right back into the lineup for the Bulldogs, as is Horvath. Right. Sizing up the defense. He's got Wicker on him, and he's going to take a step back 3. All net.
How about Jay right there? The West Banco 3 on the step back. Haven't seen that very often this year, but he splashes that one home.
West Banco building a better bank every day since 1870. WestBanco.com. 17-7 lead up to double digits for Defiance. Celina not going to push the panic button, but they are trying to figure out this 2-3 zone right now as Defiance has switched up defenses to open up quarter number 2. Biddleman in the corner. Top of the key, Wicker surrenders the basketball. Harder. Wink. Well, they get it into the high blocks. Nice big man, low man pass, and that's an easy basket for Schlatter.
Good answer by Celina. Good patience, good ball movement to recognize the 2-3 zone. Got the look they wanted.
Cy at the other end buries a West Banco 3, and he is heating up, more specifically picking up where he left off, and Celina wants a 30-second timeout. Cy Schlatter with 8 points this evening, including 2 from beyond the three-point arc.
Yeah, he's come out red hot here. I don't think he's hit anything but net here on his first 3 shots. Defiance now opens up their largest lead at 11 points.
6:44 left to go in the first half. Scoop, it's not that Celina's defense has been that bad, but just an eyelash. A flash of daylight, at least so far, is all Defiance has needed. Everybody really firing on all cylinders.
Well, you're right. Defiance came out that first quarter, hit their first 3 shots, and within 2 minutes, they had that 7-0 advantage. And then they kind of tread water back and forth. Both teams scored 7 points apiece the last 5.5 minutes of quarter one. But now Defiance comes out hitting their first 2 shots in quarter 2.
1-2-2 zone, and Celina breaks it, and the bunny missed by Schlater. Wide open underneath, and he can't believe it. They did everything but finish.
Yeah, that's a tough look. That ball rimmed around there a little bit. There's
great give and go. Right finishes.
What an entry pass that time by Will Horvath. Again, just kind of a touch pass. Didn't have it in his hands long, but a nice give and go there with the bounce pass. Good looking rim run. Now the lead swells to 13.
22-9. Horvath almost came away with the steal. Hustles back to get into position. Becker is back in the ball game at center for Defiance. Ball sticking maybe just a little bit here for Celina. They've got both their bigs in the high blocks.
Defiance doing a great job of recognizing where Gavin Wicker is.
Yep.
And limiting his touches here in this opening half.
Here's Wink, who is yet to score this evening. This is going to be a long 3, in and out, last touch by Defiance.
Well, that time, Celina did a nice job of screening that zone defense that freed up Wicker there a little bit. They had a good look. Rims out, but a team rebound here for Celina as they'll run a baseline out of bounds.
Logan Kearns will check in for Cohen Harder for Celina. So we mentioned Schenk in the ball game now for Defiance. Off a high post screen, nice job down the left side of the lane, but that's why 6'7" is in the ball game as he sends Parker's offering into the student section.
Yeah, how about Schenk there, the eraser that time, timed that perfectly.
Inbounding on the baseline, Wink. And Defiance has switched, or have they? Down low, Jackson thought he caught all ball. The official thought he caught him with the body. 133 on the other 33, and Jackson Becker picks up his first foul.
Yeah, it's been a fun matchup to watch. Both 33s going toe-to-toe inside, neither one backing down. I thought that was an excellent call. It did get him with the body. And now 2 much-needed free throws coming up for Celina.
Schlater, a 54% free throw shooter, but he drains his first. Cuts the lead to a dozen.
Celina as a team just a touch over 62% on the season.
Second is on the way, in and out. Schenk with the board. Right, bounce pass into the high blocks to Schenk. Quickly back out, Horvath testing the waters. Spins, turns around, nifty move, but nothing doing. Schenk a little too far underneath the backboard there to try and get that shot up. Here comes Celina trying to cut the deficit to 10 or even single digits with a 3. Bulldogs back in a man-to-man, and the bigs going after each other, and that time our 33 beats your 33. Jackson and Schlater just giving each other no cushion.
It is physical down there in the trenches, no question.
Wright will back it out. Directing traffic. Comes off the screen. Far corner Horvath back out to Wright. And he's going to try another 3. This one's short. Horvath, oh, what great hustle in midair. Throws it off of Schlater, and it will remain Defiance basketball.
Big time hustle play that time by Horvath. Looked like Defiance had not had anybody in the entire vicinity there, but he hustles in, throws it off a Celina Bulldog. And now an extra possession here for Defiance. We'll see if they can turn it into points.
Gracia checking back into the ball game for Celina. Low post, Schenk. Almost looked like he palmed that basketball. Wright testing the waters baseline. Schlater. He's going to spot up for 3. I'm not sure how they lost him. And Horvath with another offensive board. Bullet pass down low. Schlater short. And tracked down in the near corner by Parker.
That time they got switched up. Schlater ended up having the big man on him, so he just made a fake inside and pulled up.
Both teams have missed some bunnies tonight. Parker Wink yet to score. He averages nearly 8 a ball game. Grisham in the low blocks, kicks it out up top. Kearns, free throw line extended, but dishes. Celina's just not going to panic, Scoop. They are very specific in their offense.
And right now, the Defiance defense forced them to run that offense way outside the arc.
Parker stripped by Schenk. And the big man wisely says, you know what, let's get it to a guard.
Exactly. Took the words out of my mouth. You're instantly as a coach, you're hollering, find a guard.
Oh, what a great move without the basketball by Schlatter. Cy Schlatter with the layup.
Great rim run by Schlatter, but credit to Horvath once again. Nifty little bounce pass through the Celina defense.
Lead is 14. Celina working against this 2-3 zone. Top half of it, Schlatter and Wright. Scoop, is the ball sticking a little bit for Celina? Is it moving as quick as it needs to break it down?
No, I don't think so. And a lot of that has to do with Defiance kind of winning those one-on-one perimeter battles. And here's good help by Schenk. He gets another steal and another Celina turnover.
Looking to add to a 14-point lead. Horvath. Bounce pass down low to Schenk. Baby hook shot follows through. Wow.
Horvath is just eating that defense alive, breaking it down off the dribble, dropping another dime.
A 16-point Defiance lead. And a push off, a little too much hands, about 25 feet out from the basket.
Yeah, you're not going to mind that, though. Just a second foul by Defiance here, and it comes at the 2-minute mark of the half. So they still have a couple more to give. Meanwhile, Celina has not committed a foul, so that tells me their defense has to step up. You've given up 26 points. You've not committed a foul here in the first 6 minutes of quarter 2.
2 minutes exactly left to go in the first half. The inbounds comes into the backcourt for Parker. Braylon Parker with just 1 basket to his credit. Of course, when you only have 10 points, you're not going to have a lot. This one into the paint, but Grisham cut off. Walter, he may not be as tall as some of his teammates, but he's pretty thick as well. He's got a strong base. And we're going to have a travel being called. Braylon Parker looking back going, what?
That's 8 turnovers now for Celina compared to just 3 for Defiance. So those extra possessions allow this extra separation here. So we hit the 92nd mark of the opening half.
Horvath looking down low, Walter up top. He does have a 3 to his credit, but he said 1 is usually his max per game. Jay Wright says, I'll pick up that slack. Another West Banco 3, his second of the night. Give him 8 on the evening, and it's a 19-point Defiance lead.
That's a confident young man out there, and Jay Wright just pulling up multiple times here and feeling it. His second West Banco 3.
Well, this is going to be a long heat check by Parker. It's short, Schenk with the board. And with less than a minute left to go in the half, we'll see if Defiance decides to take the air out of the basketball. Wright will not. Stops and pops just before the free throw line. What were we talking about in the pregame and how the coaches want him to be more aggressive? It sounds like it's finally sinking in.
Yeah, I think the message went through loud and clear to Jay Wright that time. Again, he's just feeling it. A great pull-up jumper, high percentage shot.
On the drive, Billerman lowers the shoulder. We're going to have a blocking foul against Matthew Walter.
Again, not a bad foul. Excellent call that time by veteran official Jeff Clear coming over there. Again, just the third team foul, so you still have 1 to give here, the final 25.9. Don't be afraid to use it here if you need.
25 and 9/10 seconds left to go in the first half. They get the ball to Wicker in the corner, but he's immediately identified. He's going to drive. We've got a whistle. The iron remains unkind.
That was one of the few times tonight that we've seen the ball in the hands of Gavin Wicker. Made a quick first step. And I thought Defiance should probably commit that foul a little bit earlier instead. That'll put Wicker to the stripe. A 72% free throw shooter. That one rims out.
Wow.
So the shooting woes continue. Maybe it's that student body down there with all the hard hats and
Don't know.
vest on.
This kid averages 18 a game. He has just picked up his first point of any kind with 20 seconds left to go in the first half.
Yeah, that's huge because, again, a team that's only scoring, 47 a game, and he's accounting for nearly 20. Boy, it's taken him a long time to get anything on that board.
Right. Putting the offense in motion with 10 to shoot. Horvath top of the key. Schlatter. Boy, good defense by Harder, and he throws up a prayer, and it's not answered, but there is a foul called.
Yeah, it was answered, but it was answered by Celina. That time they really had that defended well. That's kind of a bread and butter play of Defiance. They had it covered, and that time Schlatter just trying to force up a shot to beat the horn. Instead, he'll get 2 free throws. First one up and in. And again, Schlatter, the last guy you want to foul, just under 88% on the season. Makes good on that one, and the lead's north of 20 here at 21 points.
2.8 seconds left to go, and good looking form as he drains both. 33-11, three-quarters court shot will come up way short. And the half couldn't come fast enough for Celina. Defiance basically just kicking in on all cylinders in the first 16 minutes of play as they extend a 14-7 lead at the end of one to a 33-11 lead heading into the locker room at the half. We'll take a quick timeout. We're back with your Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Stanball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stanball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948.
Back at the Dog Pound, as you see the Spirit Squad being recognized, they'll have one last performance on their home court here this evening. They're doing so with the team that they're cheering for in command. Defiance 33, Celina 11. At the intermission, Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. Time for your Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, helping you achieve your dreams and securing your future. Visit them in Defiance, Bryan, or Napoleon, or online at midwestcommunity.org. Start off here with your Arthur Law Firm Stat Tracker stats. If a serious injury from a car crash puts you on the injured list, call the personal injury attorneys at Arthur Law Firm, serving Northwest Ohio for more than 50 years. Get the compensation you deserve and back in the game with your winning team at Arthur Law Firm. Let's start with scoring. All but one starter for Defiance in the scoring column here, and you've already got two in double figures. Now, one is standard, expected. The other is a bit of a surprise. Leading all players is Cy Schlatter for Defiance. He's got a couple of threes, he's got a couple of deuces, he's got a couple of free throws. He's got a dozen points at the intermission. Jordan Wright with a couple of threes and a couple of nice stop and pop jumpers. He's got 10. Scoop, he averages 5 a game, so regardless, I don't want to say you don't want him to slow it down, but anything you get over basically that is considered gravy. Don't tell that, though, to Coach Bryn Lehman and company. They challenge their senior point guard to be not reckless, not selfish, but more aggressive, and it seems like that message was taken to heart.
No doubt about it. I think like you and I, Brent, I think Bryn Lehman saw a lot in this young man, his upside, what he could do, and he wants him to, again, he's such an unselfish player, but that doesn't mean you can't be aggressive and look for some shots, and he's done that here. It's paid off in a big way.
Rounding out the scoring for Defiance, Noah Shank has come in off the bench. He had a thunderous dunk in the second half. He scored 3 on a three-point play earlier. He's got 5. Then a deuce apiece for Will Horvath and Matthew Walter. On the flip side for Celina, their leading scorer, their big man power forward Caleb Schlater. He's got 5, including 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 for Hudson Gresham off the bench, 2 for Braylon Parker, and 1 of 2 from the free throw line for Gavin Wicker. The big one there, Scoop, is Wicker. He is their leading scorer without question. No one else even close. At 18 points per game, he has been held to just 1 point at the intermission.
Yeah, that's kind of a surprise there. He's one of the top scorers in the Western Buckeye League, but credit Defiance and Coach Lehman. I thought their game plan on him the first half was spotless. He did not have a lot of touches. In fact, the only shot I remember him taking was the one he got fouled on and got to the stripes. So they did a great job of keeping the ball out of his hands and making other guys take over. And it's really worked out for Defiance here as they have a humongous lead here that nobody saw coming into this.
Not at all. 22 points the difference as both teams in their respective locker rooms. That is the point production. What do you have for board work and turnovers?
Well, right now, Defiance just owning the glass here against Celina. 15 rebounds to just 8 for Celina. So +7. We knew that was going to be a challenge for Celina coming in, but boy, they have had no answer at either end. Just 2 offensive rebounds for Celina the entire first half. On a turnover side, that's been equally impressive for Defiance. Defiance just 3 turnovers. Meanwhile, Celina turned it over 8 times in that first half. Some of those led to some points in transition for Defiance. When you total all those things up, there you see it, a huge advantage here for the Bulldogs at the intermission.
33-11. It all adds up to a 22-point Defiance lead. Those are your Arthur Law Firm Stat Tracker stats. We're going to take a quick timeout. Back with more of your Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
The Shanghai Circus has been entertaining audiences at the Grand Shanghai Theater for more than 20 years. And now they're coming to Defiance on February 21st. Immerse yourself in a magical journey through Chinese history and discover more about Chinese culture. Shanghai Circus will be at the Defiance Community Auditorium on Saturday, February 21st at 7 p.m. Tickets start at just $15 and are available now at defiancearts.org. Shanghai Circus, presented by the Strady Center for the Arts. Entertainment on a whole new level.
Discover top-quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top-quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
At Arthur Law Firm, we understand how overwhelming life can be after being seriously injured in a car accident. With over 50 years of experience, Arthur Law Firm has a track record of getting the results you deserve. When you don't know where to turn, get answers with Arthur.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com.
2:45 left to go before we resume play here in the second half. Defiance already out and getting a quick shoot around in. No sign of Celina right now. My guess is if we were a fly on the wall in the Celina locker room, Coach Adam Johns would be preaching some fire as their team now coming out with about 2.5 minutes left to go. Look, Scoop, there's no such thing as a 22-point basket, right? You're not going to get back into it, I should say, if you're Celina with the snap of a fingers. But if you're Coach Johns, what's your message to your team here at the intermission?
You come out and you establish yourself right away. Kind of what like Defiance did the opening half, where Defiance came out, they were able to force a quick turnover. In fact, they forced 3 quick turnovers on the first 5 possessions for Celina. And before really Celina got off the bus, they were looking at a 7-0 deficit. So you're right, you're not going to get them all back at once, but you get the ball to start the second half, go set the tone right away. Let's play downhill. Let's get to the rack, put some pressure on that Defiance defense, and then let's get a stop one possession at a time and work our way back in it.
On the flip side, if you're Defiance, and I'm not saying this will happen, but it's not uncommon to see a team jump out to an enormous lead and, I don't want to say hiccup or lose their edge, but maybe just not quite have the same intensity, the same grind that got you that big lead. How do you keep your guys up, but at the same time making sure that you don't play out of style or out of sync to allow a run that you just mentioned?
Well, you're right. That's a real challenge, and I can bank that Coach Brendan Lehman is telling his guys, hey, this is the WBL. These guys are going to make a run. They're not going to roll over for you and let you finish this thing out. So you've got to keep the foot to the metal. They will make a push. They'll make some shots. They'll make a run, but you have to sustain yourself. Keep playing hard here for the final 16 minutes. If you can do that, the scoreboard should take care of itself.
33-11. Warm-ups are done. Ball's being put back into the racks. Both teams huddling up around their respective coaches as we get set to resume play here in the second half at the Dog Pound. Again, last game of the regular season for both these teams. There is a game waiting for them in the postseason as the sectionals will be kicking in next week. Celina has drawn the 8th seed, and they will play Maumee on the 25th. Defiance has drawn the 5th seed, and they will be going to Toledo, specifically the northern suburb of Sylvania, to take on Southview in a 4-5 seed matchup.
Yeah, that'll be a great matchup there at Sylvania Southview, just around the corner. But first things first, Defiance wants to close out the WBL on a winning note. And they're off to a great start, but we still have 16 minutes to go.
Yep. Wink takes the inbounds. Celina has the ball to open up third quarter play. Defiance back out in that man-to-man defense. Wink, who is scoreless on the ball game, finds Billerman in the high blocks, and the big center nifty turnaround and a pretty deft touch from the elbow. He's in the books with his first points.
Nice set play. That was option 2, but that was the option that was open. And Billerman, a 62% field goal shooter, so they'd love to see him get a few strokes here this second half.
Right top of the key with a pump fake spin. Good defensive footwork by Wicker to cut him off. Defiance will kick it back out in between the rings. Wright keeping his dribble. He'll stop and pop from about 17. This one off the base of the iron, and a strong board by Schlater. Not too many people are going to take it away from number 33 once he gets two hands on it.
You're not. You can bank that Coach Johns was preaching fire as far as getting the glass. They were held to 8 rebounds the first half. There's a good take, but unable to finish is Parker Wink.
At the other end, Horvath throws up a bit of a prayer. Billerman thought he was clean. Instead, he's going to be called for the foul.
Yeah, that's one of those plays that's typically going to go to the offense. So that time, Celina a little bit tardy in transition defense. And Horvath, who's had an excellent floor game tonight, will head to the stripe. He's a 65% free throw shooter. Makes good on the first of 2.
Horvath, getting sample size decent coming into tonight, 19 out of 29. But really, Scoop, not a lot of free throws shot by Defiance as they turn it into a 4-point play. Becker kicks it out to Horvath, who drains the 3.
Great job by Horvath after missing the back end of that 2-shot foul. Was able to redeem himself as he gets freed up there beyond the arc at West Bank 03. Largest lead of the night here now for Defiance.
On the wing. Driving in, Walter with a little bit of a love tap for Parker. Wink in between the rings, crosses over, Wright staying with him. Billerman releases it almost immediately. Here's Wicker on the drive. Beyond the arc, Parker. Free throw line extended. They're leaving Billerman open. They're daring him to shoot. He almost pulled the trigger there, but realizes there's a reason I'm open. And he gives it up. Wink, top of the key. Now the other big man, Schlater. On the wing, Wicker drives baseline, cut off by Horvath. Billerman tries a little dipsy doodle, and it's just a bit short. And here comes Wright. Quick outlet. Horvath hits a trailing Becker, and he'll kick it out, and they'll set up the half-court offense.
Horvath has been the glove there to defensive end. Really limited Gavin Wicker.
Becker down low, and whoa, 33 on 33. This time Green gets the light. Slater with the block.
That's a big-time block. Not an easy task. Well, you've got some heavy hitters going at it down low.
Oh, Horvath with the steal, coast to coast. He looks over his shoulder. I will give Slater credit there because he was coming downhill. For a second, it looked like he was going to make Horvath earn him, and Horvath felt those footsteps. Slater pulled back, realizing sometimes discretion is the better part of valor.
Yeah, great job by Horvath. Read that like a book, was able to get the run out. And again, he put the Jets on there to make sure he had just enough room to go up uncontested.
3 off the far side of the iron by Wink. He smacks his hands together. Schlatter underneath with the board. 39-13, right on the drive. Little finger.
Oh, goodness.
You keep using Paul Silas references. I'm going to go Iceman. That was George Gervin-esque.
It was. That was a tough shot. Boy, that shot's not just for anybody. Boy, that was pretty well defended as well, and he made that look easy. Nice
high off
kiss
the
off
glass.
The window.
Man. And look at this. He's getting it done at the defensive end. Running the break. Nobody picks him up. And now Bidelman shows as he backs it out.
I tell you what, Jay Wright's been impressive. You know, he has been more aggressive, but he has not really
he hasn't forced anything.
He's let the game come to him, but he's also created a lot with his aggressive play.
Becker low blocks. Finds Walter, who pops. They'll kick it back out. Big man beyond the arc saying, come help me out. I want to give it to a guard and repost. Top of the key. Horvath wide open for 3. It's short. Ball tapped around and finds the hands of Parker.
And when Jay Wright plays downhill like that, that's going to free up his teammates there around the arc, as we saw there. A pretty good look that time from Defiance, but they do come up empty.
Parker, heat check. It's short, and it'll go out of bounds off of Bidelman. It's just been that kind of night on both ends of the court. Defiance can seemingly do no wrong, and Celina's wondering what they've got to do to buy a break.
Yeah, this has been a tough night here for Celina. And again, a night where the road team in this series has won the last 3 contests. So you had to think both teams coming in 3-5 to WL that this was a winnable game. But right now, Defiance has just had their way. And they're not a long way off a running clock here, to be honest.
I was not going to say it. We're not quite there, but things are getting closer. Wright spots up for 3. Short off the iron. Schenk with the board. Pump fake goes up strong. Can't get the friendly roll. Boy, that was a top board by Grisham.
And Defiance is, like Celina, has missed a few bunnies they'd like to have back. A pretty good look that time after the offensive board by Schenk.
Kearns in between the circles. Surrenders it to Harder. This is going to be a heat check from the top of the key. Nothing doing for Parker. Ball out of bounds off of Defiance. And we're going to have Peyton Imsayas check in for Defiance as Horvath will catch a breather. 2:20 left to go here, third quarter.
I like how Defiance continues just to switch up defenses just enough not to let Celina get comfortable in the half court. Result just 13 points here for Celina as we're nearly 22 minutes into this one.
Defiance back in that 2-3 zone. Far corner, long 3 off the mark. Schenk cleans up on the weak side. Quick outlet. Imsayas wisely hangs on to it. Bibler on the drive, 360 spin, cut off. Good footwork by Harder. White. Jay Wright barking out the new set. Imsayas. Well, he thought about it. Instead, he's going to drive.
It's a great job by Defiance. A lot of times you get a big lead like this, you get sloppy, and here they run clock, and then they take advantage as Trey Bibler spotted an opening right down the heart of that Celina defense.
It's now a 30-point lead. Scoop, nobody in this gym expected this tonight.
No, not a bit. This was one of those games, again, I think both teams had to feel confident. Hey, if we play well, we're going to get the W tonight. But right now it's been Defiance playing well. Celina still struggling to figure out some of these defenses.
Bielderman, bounce pass as he was getting to the blocks was a little low, and the big man couldn't quite haul it in. Under a minute left to go in the third quarter. Right. Walter back out.
And this is impressive. Instead of rushing a shot, they're coming down. Hey, let's make sure we get the look we wanted. You know, they're playing this like it's a tie ball game, which I love. You know, they're locked in right now. That's what we talked about. The biggest challenge for Defiance at halftime was staying locked in, but boy, they are doing it here tonight.
Emsaeus drives but dishes to the far corner. Plenty of time still left at 26 seconds. Defiance being very patient, but still running their offense. Bibler beyond the arc. Off a shank screen, he rolls, he's open, low blocks. He spun the wrong way. He's going to go up with that hook shot. There's where being 6'7" buys you that basket.
That's a big-time move by the big man. Again, took his time. Nifty finish there in that baby hook.
45-13. Step back three at the buzzer. Doesn't catch anything. And we're through three quarters. All Defiance. 45-13 over visiting Celina. We'll take a quick timeout. Final 8 minutes. When we come back, you're watching DCTV Sports.
For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Superior Credit Union, a not-for-profit, member-owned financial cooperative. Visit superiorcu.com to find out more about joining the winning team at Superior Credit Union. When a fire or natural disaster throws a penalty flag, let ServiceMaster Restore work for you. Anything from minor cleanups to complete overhaul and rebuilding. Contact ServiceMaster by McCann.
Second buzzer sounds. Defiance about to inbound. Final 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock, and it has been all hosts tonight. The Blue Bulldogs 45, the Green Bulldogs 13. Asai Schlatter. What if I told you he was scoreless in that third quarter and he still has a dozen points?
I didn't need it. Defiance only scored 12 points in the third quarter. The problem for Celina was they only scored two. So 12-2 and 31-6 over the last two quarters.
Top of the key, long three by Wicker. Nothing doing. Here comes Bibler. Defiance. Well, Bibler's going to go all the way in. Oh. Count it! And one coming! Boy, he is so deceptive, especially in the open court, isn't he?
That's a smart play. He's got such great court awareness, and that time kind of looked off the defenders, and then he put it in high gear. A little hesitation move. He goes downhill the rack looking for the and one.
And he's got it.
And with that, it's a 35-point advantage, so we should have a running clock unless Celina can get this down under 30 points.
Yep. Celina's going to need at least a 5-0 run, actually a 6-0 run. The clock will run continuously once a 35-point lead is built, and as Scoop mentioned, it's got to get below 30 for it to go back to regular. So, clock continues to run despite the foul and the stoppage of play there. And they're going to call the foul on Owen Fry, his first. Looking to inbound, flirting with 5. Wicker, top of the key. Again, Wicker, one of the leading scorers in the conference, averaging 18 a game, held to just 1 tonight.
Just incredible. He just has not had shots either. Defiance has really taken him out of this ballgame.
It's going to be easy to look up and see 48 points, but I'd say look at the opposition scoring column. Defiance's defense, I would argue, has been even more impressive. As Wink can't find the range. He's
no doubt
scoreless.
about it. You know, Defiance given up 6 points in the last 18-plus minutes. So just incredible what they've been able to do, but they've done it with their defense, with their rebounding. They've been patient on offense. Boy, it's been good math here for the Bulldogs.
Emsaeus wants in on the axe. Had an open look at 3, but it rattles out. Celina desperate for a basket. They've scored 1 so far here in the entire second half. Except with the drive, and he can't get the friendly roll there. But he will head to the line.
Well, that's been Celina's best offense tonight, but the problem is they just have not gotten a lot of touches down there in the low block. But now the big man, Hudson Grisham, the sophomore, will head to the stripe. And the southpaw looking to end a drought, and he does with the first of 2. Defiance with a mass substitution here.
He's a good free throw shooter at 72%. And this looks more like a line change in hockey for Defiance. 4 jerseys out, 4 jerseys in. Clock continues to run with that massive lead for Defiance as the second free throw splits the nylon for Hudson Grisham. Wright being joined by Horvath. Now into the ball game, Jace Brownlee. Also number 10, Slatter still staying on the floor. Walter rounding out your Defiance 5. Horvath with the board, and they'll kick it out. Right, sizing up the D, fakes the pass, and one of the few shots he's missed tonight. That ball goes out of bounds. Who's it off of? It looks like it will remain Defiance basketball.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that take right there by Jay Wright. Had a really good look, just unable to finish. But another offensive team rebound here for Defiance. Now with that running clock, we're under the 4-minute mark here of this one.
Beyond the arc, Brownlee tried to hit Horvath, flashing into the low blocks, pass a little high.
That's too bad, because that time Horvath was all alone after a nice back screen by Cy Slatter that time to free him up.
Well, and you've got some guys on the court right now that maybe aren't quite used to playing with each other, at least for extended minutes. So timing, chemistry, knowing where your teammate's going to be ahead of time, maybe not quite the same. Although I'll guarantee you, Bryn Lehman will say it should make a difference.
That's a good problem to have, being in this position.
Wink still can't get on the board. Off the mark. Slatter had the board, and he was stripped from behind by Harder.
Yeah, great job by the senior Harder.
Grisham with a 3 from the far corner. A West Banco 3.
That's one of the few times tonight we've seen him able to just kind of catch and shoot in rhythm. And that's the first points by
Celina here in the fourth quarter.
Well, really the first basket we've had by either team since we had the running clock. They did have the 2 free throws there earlier.
We're coming up on 2 minutes, and Coach Lehman going to sub out. And seniors getting a round of applause here. I thought we might have a standing O. But they have meant so much to this program.
Yeah, how about this type of win on senior night? Boy, it speaks volumes, and shot in the arm. But we've seen some really good basketball from Defiance all season.
Driving, dishing, Fry tried a 3 off the mark. Those seniors again, let's recognize them. Jordan Wright, Will Horvath, and Matthew Walter.
And those 3 have really contributed in so many ways, not just from a physical standpoint, but a mental leadership standpoint as well. Nice to see them all get honored and recognized before the opening tap here tonight.
Cy Schlatter will be subbed out for, and he immediately goes to those seniors and gives them all a hug. He knows where his bread's been buttered this season. Up the court, Emsaeus dishes off. Far corner, look at this, they aren't stopping. That one in and out for Trey Bibler, and we're going to have another substitution. Brody Mush is about to check in.
And that time they're going to get, I think they got Jackson Becker over the top that time.
Yes, his second, and he will now check out with 1:10 left to go. I'm not sure what the student body's doing, but they're razzing somebody. As a substitution, Isaac Spencer checking in for Celina. Beyond the arc, Kearns, they get it back to him. Wink, desperate for a basket. He's seen so many come close tonight. Down low, Spencer checks in. He spun, nobody's there, and he's like, okay, I might as well go up.
Why not? One of the free looks tonight there for Celina, but boy, it's going to be way too little, too late.
Yep. On the drive, this goes out of bounds, and it will stop the clock with the lead now under 30 at 13.4 seconds left to go. And who do we have checking in here? Landon Fairchild. Nope, check that. 21 is Ryan Gaffman. And substitution now for Celina as Schlater will head to the bench. Jake Klosterman will check in for the final Baker's dozen. Five seconds left to go. Will they get a shot off? MCS almost had a steal. Oh, and it's been that kind of night. The ball thrown away just as time expires. Final score, Defiance started hot and stayed hot as they win the regular season finale on senior night, 48-20 to finish the regular season at 16-6 overall, 4-5 in WBO play. Celina will lick their wounds, finishing up the regular season at 7-14, 3-6, as both teams will suit up next week for the opening round of the playoffs and sectionals. We will take a quick timeout. We'll do some quick math. We expect to be joined by Coach Bryn Lehman. He's got to be pleased with his team's 28-point win in front of the home crowd to end up the regular season. We'll take a quick timeout. Defiance 48, Celina 20. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
The Shanghai Circus has been entertaining audiences at the Grand Shanghai Theater for more than 20 years. And now they're coming to Defiance on February 21st. Immerse yourself in a magical journey through Chinese history and discover more about Chinese culture. Shanghai Circus will be at the Defiance Community Auditorium on Saturday, February 21st at 7 p.m. Tickets start at just $15 and are available now at defiancearts.org. Shanghai Circus, presented by the Strady Center for the Arts. Entertainment on a whole new level.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
They are buzzing here at the Dog Pound on senior night. There was a good turnout, not just by the student body, but by the local community, sending out a group of three seniors, Jordan Wright, Will Horvath, and Matthew Walter, with some great support. And in return, they play with some style, jumping out to a 14-7 lead at the end of the first quarter, a 22-point lead at the half, 33-11, and they just kept the heat on. As a matter of fact, they held Celina to just 2 points, one basket in the third 8 minutes of play. Final score, Defiance 48, Celina 20. Brent Balbinot being joined by Scoop Miller as we've got our post-game show going on. We'll run down some stats and hopefully be joined by head coach Bryn Lehman here in just a couple of minutes. Let's run down your scoring totals. And how about this? Leading all players at the intermission with 12 points. Junior sharpshooter Cy Schlatter for Defiance didn't score a single point in the second half, and he still is tied to lead all scorers with 12 points. Now, that's not the surprise. He averages nearly 18 per game. But a pleasant surprise, and we're sure to ask Coach Bryn Lehman about it, is who did score tonight. Point guard Jay Wright. He averages a little over 5 per ball game. He had 10 at the half. He finishes with 12, so he and Schlatter both leading all scorers this evening. After that, some pretty good balance. 8 points for Will Horvath. 7 for Trey Bibler, who did come off the bench tonight as Matthew Walter got the start on senior night. How about Noah Shank coming off the bench? He had 7 points. And again, Matthew Walter starting as a senior. His final game at Defiance finishes with a bucket. On the flip side, off the bench, Hudson Gresham, really, I don't want to say undersized because he's fairly tall, fairly thick. But again, they just had some problems with the height that Defiance had. And really, once one player went cold, it seemed like the rest of the team went cold as well. That he leads all scorers for Celina off the bench with 8. 5 points for Caleb Schlater. A deuce for Isaac Spencer, Logan Billerman, and Braylon Parker. And here's the one that's surprising, Scoop. As we were talking about all night long, it's not just who scored, it's who didn't score. Averaging 18 a ball game, Gavin Wicker was held to just 1 of 2 from the free throw line tonight. Defiance's defense deserves just as much credit as their offense.
Well, they were locked in on defense, no question. I thought they were so connected. They came out and forced a couple quick turnovers, turned them into points. And once they got the snowball going down the hill, Celina had no answer tonight.
To sit here and say what jumps out at you, everything seemed to. Some nights you just have that type of performance. And it's one thing if 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 or 4 guys have it, but it seemed that everybody that stepped onto the floor tonight for Defiance was just clicking on all cylinders.
I agree. You know, they had great production from their starters, which we typically see, but I thought they had some great production for their bench. And even more than that, Brent, I just thought everybody kind of played their role tonight. We saw Jay Wright be a little bit more aggressive there at the point. Boy, he was so productive. But I love the play of Will Horvath as well. You know, he saw the floor. He was a big part of that offense that really had the ball clicking, had the ball moving. And, again, he hit some big shots, too, when they needed them. So just an all-around game. And we talked about how Defiance really dominated the rebound from start to finish. And that was a big key as well here tonight.
At this point, what do you say to your team if you're Adam Johns? I mean, you flush it. We always hear the not too high after a win, not too low after a loss. The guarantee is you still get one more ball game, a minimum of one more ball game because you got the second season next week on the 25th. What's your message to your team with regard to hitting the reset button?
Well, the thing they got in front of them, they've got all their goals basically still in front of them. So you still got a tournament. And probably the most important thing to say is, hey, we're awfully fortunate this happened when it did. You know, if this happens next week, boy, it's going to be a bitter end of the season. Now we can flush that, put it behind us, and now we can make that go away by coming out and playing to our ability. I think they got a good draw just like Defiance. So I think that sectional, that district, I think it's wide open. It's about going out and playing your best ball. And that's your message to your kids. You know, we've always been gearing toward the tournament, and now we want to put our best foot forward here and let the chips fall where they may.
Now, they have a winnable game against Maumee, but at the same time, Maumee would say the same thing. We've got a winnable game against Celina. That's why some of those tight seed matchups are always so interesting to watch, because you are supposed to have evenly matched teams. On the flip side, clearly you've got some wind in your sails. You picked up win number 16 on the season. You pulled it within a game of 500 in conference play. But now if you are Defiance, you are looking at an out-of-conference opponent from the Northern Lakes League next week as they will travel to Southview to take on Sylvania Southview and the Cougars. What do you anticipate? I'll ask the same question to Coach Bryn Lehman when he comes up. But how do you pace yourself over the next 48 to 72 hours?
Well, you're going to take tomorrow off here, get some rest, get your legs back under a little bit, and then it's a lot of not just mental, but also the opponent scout coming in as well. So, Southview, even though I think that's a good draw, Brent Lane will be the first to tell you, that's a really good Southview team. I've had the opportunity to watch these guys one time, and they're going to have some matchup problems. But, again, it's a winnable game if you go out there and play like you're capable of doing. So, again, this is the Defiance team that's heading in the right directions. They've had some tough breaks, mainly the WBL, where they've really had some struggles. Bulldogs finished just 4-5. But again, you've got the tournament ahead of you. You can make a lot of those aches and pains go away with the tournament run.
We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we will continue to break down our Arthur Law Firm Stat Tracker stats. We've given you points. We'll get scoops, board work, and turnovers. We hope to be joined by head coach Bryn Lehman here in just a couple of minutes. Don't you go anywhere. Back with more of the postgame right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
In life, unexpected challenges can test us. If you've been seriously injured in a car accident, you deserve a team that understands. Because your story matters. Call Arthur Law Firm today. We'll fight for you every step of the way.
Stanball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stanball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948. The Shanghai Circus has been entertaining audiences at the Grand Shanghai Theater for more than 20 years. And now they're coming to Defiance on February 21st. Immerse yourself in a magical journey through Chinese history and discover more about Chinese culture. Shanghai Circus will be at the Defiance Community Auditorium on Saturday, February 21st at 7 p.m. Tickets start at just $15 and are available now at defiancearts.org. Shanghai Circus, presented by the Strady Center for the Arts. Entertainment on a whole new level.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com.
Still a buzz here at the Dog Pound as Defiance knocks off visiting Celina for the regular season finale in the WBL and the regular season period. And they do it handily, 48-20 the final score. Bryn Lehman and company now 16-6 on the season, 4-5 in conference play. Celina drops to 7-14 and 3-6. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. Your Arthur Law Firm Stat Tracker stats continue here. We broke down the scoring portion of those for you in that last segment. Time now to take a look at board work and turnovers. Scoop, what do you have?
Well, Defiance was impressive in both the turnover department and also the rebounding. Unofficially, I had Defiance out rebounding Celina 25-17. They held Celina to just one offensive rebound in each of the four quarters. Meanwhile, Defiance doubled them up on offensive rebounds and also had a lot of second chance points to add to it. On the turnover side, what an impressive night for Defiance again. Just 4 Bulldog turnovers through 32 minutes of action. On the flip side, Celina turned it over 15 times. And, boy, you just that's a big discrepancy. You know, when you're minus 11 in the turnover department, boy, that's not good math for your team.
As we take a look, and it looks like Coach Lehman coming up to join us, so we'll get a headset up and hopping for him as his squad will have a chance to enjoy it, and some good-natured ribbing amongst local media here as Coach Lehman will let him get a chance to catch his breath as he works his way up to the mezzanine level here, and we'll have a headset for him here. You had to win tonight with all the family that was in the house.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness.
Had to. You can't lose. You can't lose with Jay Lehman in attendance, or he's gonna. bad things will happen. I've seen it.
And bad things almost happened on his way down the steps. But you've got to give the devil his due. First things first, Coach. Let's talk about. I had a chance to stop out of practice on Wednesday, and you just talked about a number of things. You challenged the guys, but it's easy to look at 48 points. But on Wednesday, you ran nothing but defensive drills. You really were trying to hammer home discipline, rotation, and just plain attitude. I think you mentioned that term multiple times. 20 points. You had a running clock through, roughly 25% of this ball game. Let's start at the area that doesn't always make the highlight reels at 6 and 10. How are you pleased with your team's defensive effort tonight?
Oh, it was tremendous, and we really had to get back to the basics. And like you just said, that was typically 2 days before a game. You're not going to put that much. We drilled a lot, and we really got back to what we did in November and early December, and we needed a little reset. I think some of our guys were complacent defensively. I don't think we were applying the same pressure that we did early in the season. So it was good for our guys to like I said, have a little bit of a reset and then apply it tonight, which was pretty evident.
This was a physical team, one of the few in the conference that can match up with your size and your bulk down low, and yet you ran about as big a lineup as I've seen you run all season long, especially with Schenk in with Becker, but you seem to nullify their front court. Let's talk about that part of the defense.
Yeah, I think Noah's grown so much, and he's improving every single day. If we can throw him and Jackson out there in the same lineup, I think that puts some stress on some teams, and I think that's a luxury that we've got. We're handcuffed a little bit with certain teams, but when you've got a big team like Celina, we could go a little bit bigger, and we could still rely on. And one of the saving graces tonight was Jordan Wright. That was as well as Jordan Wright's played all season long. And when you have a point guard, a senior point guard, command the game like he did tonight, it opens up some other doors.
And Coach, talk about the start a little bit tonight. You guys were able to get that tap, but then you worked the ball well. You got really clean shots, your first ever possessions. Then on the defensive end, you forced a couple quick turnovers, turning them into points. How big was that start for you guys tonight?
Huge, absolutely huge. I think that we bought into the keys we put on the board, and we were deliberate offensively. I don't think we were passive by any means, but we were confident. And I think the very first couple plays of the game, we had a great baseline drive, dumped down to Matthew Walter on the opposite block, and then Will Horvath with a little jumper that got us going. So seniors leading, and I think everything snowballed from there. And I think our defensive intensity and effort really frustrated a few of their guys. It was great to see. I thought we were good on every facet.
I'm going to rewind a little bit to try and plug back into what you just mentioned, because you had mentioned it in our pregame. You didn't want him to be selfish, but you wanted him to be more aggressive. Jay Wright, the average is about 5 a game. I talked to him after I'd had the chance to interview you, and he admitted, I've always been a pass-first kind of mindset. You've challenged him. Number one, it seems like you took that to heart, but I'll go again with Will, obviously Trey. I can't think of a single shot that didn't come within the frame of the offense. You can be aggressive, but still take quality shots. There's enough touches in this offense to go around for everybody.
No doubt. And I think, everything looks good when shots are falling. So I think there's some smoke and mirrors a little bit with that at times, but this wasn't one of those nights. I thought we were getting good offense. I thought we were generating good looks, and our guys were just converting. So it was really good to see our guys execute and then take advantage of opportunities. And like you said, when Jordan Wright's aggressive, Will Horvath's aggressive, Trey Bibler's aggressive, that is some versatility, because then guys can't key in on Josiah Slaughter quite as much, and Jackson Becker had a very, very quiet game, and it was good to see Noah Schenk step up and make some plays. So when we've got all of our guys firing on all cylinders, I think that's great to have.
And talk about the physical play we saw down low. We thought this was going to be a great matchup. You got Celina's got a lot of football players out there. They've got some thick kids, and I knew that was part of your preparation, but that just really never came to fruition for Celina. I thought you guys just dominated the boards. Unofficially, I only had Celina for 4 offensive rebounds on the night.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I thought it would turn into more of a half-court game. Now, one of our goals was to get out and run, because I thought we could wear down their bigs. But you saw some glimpses of they like to get into high-low looks, and they made us pay a couple times, especially early in the zone. They hit the elbow and then went over the top. 33 is a tough player, and for being a young kid, he's big and he's physical. So I definitely thought that would be more a part of the game. But credit to our guys. I thought Matthew Walter and Noah Shank and Jackson Becker did a great job banging inside. And even at times when we went small, I think we were unselfish enough to. Jordan Wright picked up one of the big guys, and that's the kind of stuff. It's not my man, it's not your man, it's our guy. And if we can play unselfishly defensively, I think we can be pretty good.
You got some time now. The second season is around the corner, and you and I were joking about this because usually the first round, maybe the first couple of rounds of the playoffs become kind of mini conference tournaments. Not the case with you. You're going to take on an NLL opponent. You're going to travel to Sylvania to take on Southview. Break down the next week in your preparation.
I think it's going to be nice to have a week to prepare. I think our team is really good when we've got time to prepare for an opponent. They're very athletic. They're going to be a team that's tough to guard. We're going to have to sit down and keep people in front. We're definitely going to have to sprinkle the zone in a little bit. They're not super deep. They only play about 6 guys, maybe 7. But their top 2-3 guys are very good, high volume scorers. So it's going to be a test. I think we had an option of going a few different directions. We've had success against the NLL this season, and I think it's a situation where we're the small school, we're the nobodies, and we're going to go up there with a lot of fight and a lot of heart.
Chip on your shoulder.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it for at least tonight, will you? Congratulations.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Coach Lehman joining us, a big 48-20 win, and with it, win number 16 on the season. Big thank you going out to our crew doing more than yeoman's work tonight. Also our sponsors for helping make the broadcast a possibility, as well as you, the fan, for tuning in. Final score again this evening, Defiance 48, Celina 20. For Scoop Miller, I'm Brent Balbinot, and the big handsome in the middle here. You've been watching another presentation of DCTV Sports.